it's official, or at least the reports are out there, Andy, about LeBron James and his contract extension, 2 years, $97.1 million. You know, in the NBA, they're just throwing money around. But I'm going to say this, Andy. If I'm a Laker fan, I would be afraid, very, very afraid. I'm not convinced that LeBron is in the championship business anymore. Normally, Andy, when LeBron reaches this point with a team, he normally exits stage right. He did it in Miami. They won 2 championships out of 4 years. He thought Dwayne Wade was beat up, that they didn't have a chance to win with that group, so he bolted. In Cleveland, they did win the championship, but Kyrie bounced, and then he traded all the young players. It didn't work. He realized that well had dried up, and what did he do? He bounced. And now here he is staying in Los Angeles, not because he has another chance to win another championship with the group that he's with. It's because he loves the sunshine. His businesses have flourished. His family loves living in Southern California. This is not about the Lakers and trying to win. You know what? Andy, one last thing.
Yeah.
He saw this movie. It flopped at the box office. It should have gone straight to DVD. You're bringing back the same group? He should run from Anthony Davis. He can't stay healthy. And Westbrook does not fit with LeBron James. Why in the world, with his championship biological clock ticking, would he sign up for another show with this group? LeBron would have bounced if he was anywhere other than L.A. I'm telling you, Andy.
Look, you got to separate the skill set from what, in your mind, he thinks he's doing. Let me give you an example here, okay? Number one, you got to pay for him for what he's done. He's one of the all-time greats. I'm going to say this. Forget about his politics. Forget about his social stance. Forget about his tweets and what he says. I'm going to tell you this much right now. What athlete, you name an athlete for me, that had the hype that he had back in high school when he was on the front page of Sports Illustrated, had that kind of hype, and you know what? He exceeded that hype. You can't name any athlete in the world of sports that had the hype that LeBron James had, and he came to the NBA with that hype and went above and beyond the hype. You got to pay this guy. He's tremendous. And I don't like what he says sometimes. I don't like what he does. I don't like that he sits out games at times. I don't like he's boisterous. I don't like any of that. But I love watching him play. He's great. He's a great basketball player, and you got to pay him for what he's done.
I don't doubt that at all, Andy, and that's not my issue. I'm just telling you that his MO is that he bounces. Normally, when he looks at a situation and realizes he can't win. And that's where the Lakers are. That's why it doesn't make sense for LeBron in year 20 to stay in a place that he can't win. The West is deeper and better. Denver's getting its players back. Memphis another year. Zion's going to be there in New Orleans. You got Phoenix. Golden State is back and won a championship. I mean, the Clippers get Kawhi back. How in the world can LeBron look at the West, look at that mincemeat pie he has, and think they're going to win? I mean, this is a disaster.
The first thing they got to do is make the playoffs. But I will tell you this, a healthy Anthony Davis will help. There's no doubt in my mind there. They got to get Anthony Davis on the straight now. This guy's got to play. You got to play, get on the court and play. That's what they got to do. And with a new coach, who knows what could happen? I still have confidence in LeBron. 38 years of age. I'm going to tell you right now, what he has done at the age of 38, to me, is above and beyond what Tom Brady is doing at 40. Really? Back and forth, running 5-6 miles a night for 82 games? Well, he doesn't play 82, but I'm telling you, what he's done is he's a marvel at what he's done in the game of basketball. He certainly is. And I have every confidence in the world that they can make the playoffs if they stay healthy.
Andy, I mean, for real. I mean, those numbers were as empty as anything. They went 4 months from January to April without winning back-to-back games with LeBron James averaging 30. He doesn't affect winning, putting up numbers and not winning. How do you go 4 months in the NBA with all the weak teams that you couldn't put together back-to-back wins for 4 months? It doesn't even make sense. It tells you that LeBron, you're right. He's putting up numbers, but they don't matter. When did LeBron ever play where he didn't affect winning? I'll tell you, it happened a year ago. All I'm saying is, in his history, LeBron, if this was Cleveland, if this was Miami, if this was Milwaukee, if this was any place other than Los Angeles, LeBron would have bounced and he would have moved on, because there's no way he would stick around when you think of what could happen. AD's been hurt every year except for that bubble year when he had 4 months off, right? That was the only time. So that was the time he stayed healthy because he didn't play. And Westbrook, they tried all summer to get rid of him. They couldn't get rid of him. They bring in Darvin Ham, and I love the hire, the idea of giving Darvin Ham a chance. But now he's going to work his magic and make Westbrook fit. I'm sorry. This is a disaster.
Okay, but I think you're missing the
LeBron
lead.
wants L.A. That's all he wants.
But Robbie, I think you're missing the lead. The lead is that he agreed for a $97.1 million 2-year contract. So are we arguing about getting that 2-year contract, getting the money? Okay, so you're arguing the fact that he's staying in L.A. You know
right.
What I'm hearing from you, and I'm a historian in the NBA because I love the NBA, he's like a modern-day Wilt Chamberlain. Guy put up the numbers. What did he do? How many championships did Wilt win? One with the 76ers, one with the Lakers. What did he do? Think about it. But he averaged 50 points a game one year. He put up points.
I get all that, but I'm saying from LeBron, if LeBron has his sights set on winning, Andy, that's where I'm saying if you're a Laker fan, this tells you when you look at that team, look at the roster, and LeBron normally kind of figures out this isn't going to work and he bails. For him to stay along tells you he's more interested in Los Angeles, the movies, the businesses,
right.
all the other stuff that comes with living in Southern California. And God knows it's a beautiful place. I've lived there for 6 years and wouldn't want to live anywhere else, okay?
But look at the other side of the coin. Let's look at the Lakers situation. They could have said, we ain't signing you. He's great for box office. You know, what would be letting air out of a balloon if you let LeBron go?
No, I get that.
I'm
not arguing that. I'm just saying this is not like LeBron. And it just makes you wonder, does he still have the hunger of winning, or is he just content now, like, this is what it is? I don't want to leave. My family loves L.A., and I'm just going to ride it out, and I'll pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, wearing a Laker uniform, and that's really what it's about. Because when you look on paper, I'm sorry, I don't know if anybody sees them as really viable for a championship with the group that they've put together. I don't see that, Andy. Do you?
It's going to be tough. It's going to be real tough. And I don't know where that leaves Russell Westbrook. And I love Russell because here's a guy that plays. Here's a guy who wants to win. He'll give you 110% on the court every single day. But I don't think he fits into that offensive scheme of the Los Angeles Lakers for whatever the reason. Maybe they'll do something differently with him this year. But I love him playing. I love what he does. And he leaves it on the court. I mean, they were out of the playoffs this year, and LeBron basically said, I'm shutting it down. He played. Russell played.
Yeah, but they couldn't even get into the play-in. I mean, think about that.
It's bad.
With the players that they had, and now coming back a year older, and they've lost some players, and this will just be interesting to see how it plays out. All I'm just going to say, if I'm a Laker fan, I got to be worried. I got to be worried because has LeBron lost his fire to win? And is it just a foregone conclusion? He's like, I tell you, Andy, when LeBron retires and they put a statue out in front of that arena in Cleveland, in one hand he'll have a basketball and in the other hand he'll have a suitcase. I mean, that's his career.
And the suitcase will weigh down the statue, probably turn it over.
It probably would be. So I wonder if people see it the way I do, because I really believe, like, the Lakers have LeBron. You're right. There's no choice. It wasn't like they weren't going to offer him the extension, but for LeBron just to be like, can't make moves, stuck with the team that he had a year ago that was so bad, didn't even make the play-in game, couldn't win back-to-back games. Westbrook was a disaster. He's seen the AD act. Think about this. In 4 years in L.A., LeBron has missed the playoffs twice. 16 of the 30 teams make it, and then when you do the play-in, there's another 4 teams. It's unbelievable that they missed the playoffs twice.
It's a shame that the legacy of LeBron James, this will be part of it, and it's not his fault. As you know, as anybody else knows, you cannot carry a team by yourself. You have to have those, what they call the big three. Who does he have? He doesn't have anybody there. Number one, they were the oldest team in the league. Number two, Anthony Davis, as mentioned, has always been hurt. Who else does he have on that roster? And there's a couple of free agents out there. Now, I think he wanted Carmelo. You don't want Carmelo Anthony. I mean, he's over the hill. He's finished, okay? But there are some free agents out there. But again, they're old. But who knows what could happen? I have confidence in him. And you say, has he lost the desire to win? I think anybody who puts on a uniform in any sport wants to win. I really believe that.
All right. Here we go. Is LeBron James' decision to re-sign with the Lakers further proof that basketball isn't his top priority anymore? I know people want to chime in, Andy. Let's get it
going. Let's go. Hey, Ryan, you're on The Odd Couple with Rob Parker and Andy Furman. What do you got for us?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Doing great.
Hey, so one thing, LeBron said himself after the Cleveland championship that he's already the GOAT. So moving to LA was just to basketball secondary. Number one is business.
All right, so you believe it, that business is number one.
He's a hater.
And basketball,
like you.
There you
He's
go.
a LeBron hater like you.
Why got to be a hater if we just disagree, Andy? I'm not a hater. I'm a lover. I'm not a hater. You know that.
I love you. You can hate LeBron. That's okay, but I do love you.
No doubt.
Basketball-wise, the number one thing for LeBron is getting the scoring title in L.A.
Right. We're in a Lakers uniform. That's probably what it is. Thanks for the call. We appreciate it. 877-99 on Fox.
Mark in Sacramento, you're on The Odd Couple. What do you got for us? Mark.
Rob.
What up,
What's going
Mark?
on, gentlemen? Rob, you can't get away from me. You know that no matter where you go.
Nah, I always appreciate you, my man. You know that.
Hey, it's a pleasure. You know that, man. Hey, real quick, I think it was bigger than basketball when he came to Los Angeles. He moved his entire operation out here. He moved his family out here. And once he brought his family out here, it became bigger than that. So this was already in the plan when he got here. He took his wife up the coast, Central California coast. She fell in love. She said, I ain't never going back. That was the end of that.
No, I agree with that. But this is normally when he exits his teams, though. You got to admit that, Mark.
He's at a different stage now. He can see the end. I mean, it's not like he's trying to hold on for another 5 years. He can see the end. There's a couple of goals he can see, the Sun thing, maybe trying to get it. I think he should do what Dwayne Wade did to him. Dwayne Wade took him that summer they lost, and he took him and said, it's your team now. Do it. I think he now needs to do that to Anthony Davis.
Let me tell you one thing, and maybe I'm way off base here, but just listen to me out here. He moved to L.A., and then these lunatics destroyed his home. I mean, really and truly, they did. And he still stayed there. And you're telling me that he's there just for business? He doesn't want to win? Come on, really? I mean, if it was me and someone did that to my house, I'd pack up and leave.
He wants to win, but he can't win with that roster.
Guys like that always want to win, Rob. They always want to win. Come on, man. Get off of that.
Not with that roster, man. He knows he can't win. You're kidding yourself. You really believe the Lakers got a chance to win a championship?
If AD plays 75 games, they'll win.
They will not win a championship. 877.
They got to get to the playoffs first.
99 on Fox.
All right. Max in Georgia, you're on The Odd Couple. What do you got for us?
Man, I'm telling you, LeBron is the original BBB. It's Bron Brand. This is all about LeBron. It's always been about LeBron. Everybody talks about he's got this next plan, this bigger plan. It's all about this. It's all about that. It's all about LeBron. He wants to beat Kareem's record. He wants to play with his son. He wants to dictate what guys come and go. I'm waiting for him to take somebody under his wing, like Mark just said. I've never seen that. We won't see that because he can't do that. He's not able to be a leader. He cannot lead young men. He ships them to other teams.
And he knows he can't win, Max. Max, he can't win with this team. He knows this. LeBron would have been long gone.
He won in Cleveland.
No.
It was Ricky Dink in Cleveland.
No, he bounced. And my point is that if he was any other city other than Los Angeles where he wants to make his home, he would not be here. That's what I'm trying to tell you is that Los Angeles is the big winner, not the Lakers. It's about Los Angeles.
I disagree.
He's in La La Land, Rob, and his fans are in La La World.
No doubt. Thank you, Max. Appreciate the call.
Kurt and Boise, you're on The Odd Couple. What do you got?
What's up, fellas? Thanks for having my call.
Yes, sir.
I think that, I'm a longtime Laker fan, not a big LeBron fan, but to say that he doesn't have the will to win or not want to win, I think it's a little off base. Like, look at the roster last year. How many starting lineups did they have? Not saying it's completely his fault, but at the same time, just keep rotating.
LeBron averaged 30 points and couldn't win back-to-back games for 4 months. Stop with the roster.
Okay, there's a difference between time out. There's a difference between he couldn't win and he doesn't want to win, doesn't have the will to win. I agree. He couldn't win with that garbage he's playing with, but he certainly does have the will to win. That I say.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. They need to update the roster, and Russell Westbrook isn't cohesive with that. He's a great player, but he's not going to work. They need shooters. And then you look at Kendrick Nunn, a shooter who was supposed to shoot, didn't play a single game last year. So there's a lot of things, but yeah, you're right. They need to update the roster and make it better, but I just don't think that it's completely accurate to be like, well, he doesn't really have a drive to win.
I'm talking about, and in LeBron's day, it was always about cutting bait, moving to the next best thing that's going to help him get closer to winning a championship. And staying in Los Angeles is not what LeBron is about as far as basketball. His history tells us that. That's why I'm not buying it. All right, here we go.
Wait, please don't tell me he doesn't have the will to win. Tell me he can't win with what he's got with that roster, but please don't say he doesn't have the will to win.
I'm not saying he doesn't want to win, but he knows he can, and he decided to stay anyway. And that is what would bother me if I was a Laker fan, that he knows this roster's not good enough. All right,